Well, I've always been interested in reptiles since I was a young boy, and but I started buying them at pet stores when I was just a preteen. I let them all go and I went off to college. It was only, I think, in the past couple of years that I rekindled my interest in reptiles. I think it was because when I moved into this apartment, it was so tiny that I really couldn't keep, let's say, a dog or cats in this apartment. And I thought, well, if I want to have a companion, why don't I look at my previous interest in animals and reptiles especially? And I began to research keeping a reptile. So I began to look toward lizards, and in particularly monitor lizards, because I had read that they are the most intelligent of all of the reptiles, except for birds. It was a video on YouTube, Can You Train Your Lizard? Really spurred my interest in monitor lizards. He demonstrated the use of operant conditioning to train his lizard to wave to him when it wanted to come out of the cage. Watching that really spurred my interest in monitor lizards, so I began to read voraciously on the subject. Started buying books about monitor lizards and reading some online journals about them. Eventually, I made a decision to keep a monitor lizard in this little apartment. The first thing I noticed after I received my pair of lizards was the first thing they did is they hid for about 2 or 3 weeks. I never saw them. I left food for them, small crickets, and they would disappear, the food would disappear, and then I would see defecation. So I knew that they were there, and about 3 weeks after I got them, I noticed they started coming out while I was home. This is Ajax, silly boy. That's Angelia. As they grow, their skin doesn't grow, and then they shed their old layer of skin and with the new layer underneath. It comes off in patches with these lizards. They don't shed it all at once like a snake. They're hungry and they want attention because I haven't been home for a while because I've been working so much. What you doing, Ajax? They look very dull because their skin is dirty. They're brilliantly colored until they get dirty again. But there's a saying that the only happy Aki is a dirty Aki. I'll give him a little bath before, if I'm going to handle him, just because he'll get all my clothes dirty. You can see the pleasure he gets from the pets. They especially like being scratched like a cat. Right there, you see? They love that. She's going to get warmed up again. I think that she may or may not be gravid. So, we'll wait and see. Gravid is when they're carrying eggs. The next thing I had to do was learn how to build an enclosure that would provide of the environmental requirements demanded by the animal. Part of the enclosure, which is about 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And then they need a cooler side of the enclosure, which is about, in my enclosure, that's about 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And that way they can move around, they can move from one side to the other to maintain their body heat. And they need a basking spot. On top has a temperature of about 140 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, I guess that's a good temperature. And then these are the humidities there. So the humidities are a bit low, and I'm trying to bring them up. 69% humidity there, 54 here. It's afternoon. We're approaching afternoon, so it's normal on the hot side for the humidity to go down, but I like to keep it around 70. I looked online. I found something, so I downloaded it, and it was how to make a lizard enclosure out of a single piece of 8x4 plywood. Downloaded the plans, I went to Home Depot and I bought the plywood I needed and had them cut it into the pieces as the instructions in the plan showed. And I built this. My main concern was just the the quality of life for the lizards, and I really want to get them out of this small enclosure. But there is space above, so I don't know what I'll do with the above space. I may try to make this enclosure strong enough to put the nursery on top of it. That's a possibility. One of the things that they need is UVB light. There's some controversy about that. There are people who have raised them without any UVB light, but in that case, if you don't give UVB light, you have to give them vitamin D3 supplements. And I prefer to give them UVB light and calcium so that they develop their own, they make their own vitamin D, just like we do. Their primary diet is crickets that I buy for them. I, at one point, tried to breed crickets, and it was pretty terrible. They're very noisy at night when you're trying to sleep, and I don't have a separate room here where I could keep them, and they're also very smelly. So I stopped doing that, and I go to the pet store every day or every other day, and I pick up a load of crickets, or sometimes I have them delivered. Yeah, I come home from work and there'd be a bag of crickets waiting for me. The crickets have to be alive. These animals, they don't like to eat dead insects, but they will readily eat dead mice. Now they're extremely high in fat content, so it's something that I give to them very infrequently, maybe once per month. The female gets 2 of these after she lays eggs, because she's quite depleted after egg laying, and it's a good way to get her fat levels back up, and they are high in protein. But one thing that always works is eggs. I can scramble up eggs without any oil or anything, of course. Then I can offer that to them too. Chicken eggs contain thiominase. Thiominase is toxic to the lizards. So by cooking them, we denature the thiominase, and it's not a problem. I don't want them fighting. They might fight over it, so. Mostly they eat insects. So this is like a treat for them. I haven't given them eggs in about 3 months, so this is a pretty big treat. There you go. Oops. I don't want them to fight over these. In the wild, they will eat other lizards' eggs. But mostly they eat insects. There you go. Come on. Come on. Come on, get it. Good boy. Good boy. Very good, Ajax. Good boy. Good girl. Look at that one. There's a lot of vitamins on it. Good girl. Their primary diet is crickets and also a type of cockroach called a dubia roach. And these are also a commercial food source. You can buy them or you can breed them at home, and I chose to breed them at home because they're very expensive. So they're really good ones to have. That's why they're legal. This is a big one. Some of these are adults, some of them are still young. Once they become adults, they're ready to be fed, but I don't want to take up too many adults because they got to make more. They get calcium every other feeding and Reptivite once per week. Trying to feed 2 monitor lizards in a single enclosure is not easy. So what I do is I try to draw the male out of the enclosure for feeding. But I don't want them both to come out. So I have to get one for the female and one for the male. Or whoever decides to come out. Oh, there, he's out. So she gets hers. Oh, that one got away. Damn it. Oh, one got away. Darn it. Here. Want it? Come on, get it. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Good boy. And I gotta feed her. Ooh. Angelia. Here's a trick she learned. I trained her to do this, to capture. Whoops. No. She can climb this. Oh, never mind. Get it down. Did you swallow it? No, not yet. Ah, the water's already dirty. Good boy. Let's do Angelia. She's voracious because I trained her to use that as a feeding. Yeah, here, up here. Oh! There she goes. She got it. Ajax. Ajax. Come on. Get it. Good boy. You made a mess. You made a mess. Look at the mess you made. You know, they clean their mouths after eating. They're very clean animals. You wouldn't know it from how dirty they are. But they don't like their mouths to be dirty. So even the Komodo dragons, they'll spend 15 to 30 minutes cleaning their mouths after a meal. We got to go back in now. Silly boy. Why don't you go bask? You gotta bask. There you go. He's gonna bask for a while. And occasionally I'll give them mice. Frozen mice that I thaw for them. She's still, look, they're still hungry. She's still voracious. She may be, I can't tell, but she might be cycling. She might be in the process of making eggs. This is one of their eggs. I've dried it out, and you can get an idea of how they come out. They cut a slit in it. They have a texture of like very thin leather at first, almost like parchment, and then they dry up after they come out of it. And so you can see they just curled up in there, and when they're ready to come out, out they come. Angelia, the female, since she started her reproductive journey, I mean, she's laid 5 clutches. I'm not the best record keeper. I really should keep better records, but I think it's 6 clutches that she has laid, one of which she ate because I didn't dig them out in time. That one is about 7 weeks old. Yeah, they grow very fast. Their first year of growth is pretty spectacular. I also feed waxworms, which are a larva of a moth. Pretty active. And they're high in water and fat content, and I feed them as a treat. And with the babies, since they're growing so fast, I offer that to them too, but not as a staple. Their staple is crickets. The main thing with them is they got to get them eating and then pooping. I'm just starting to tame them, to get them to trust me, but it's very difficult. So one thing I can do is very, very carefully put my finger there and let them smell me, and then I take it away, and that was okay. So with him I can do it very, very slowly. I just put my finger down here. It's not good that I smell like insects though. That's not good. He might bite me. All right. And then I can take away. And now that, see, he's thinking, well, he didn't hurt me. That wasn't so bad. He's all curious now. Oh, well, no, that scared him. See, so I'm going to just pull back. And he didn't get hurt, so we'll just let him think about that for a while now. To get them to be social with you is you just have to do little things that are positive over time. And eventually, they will make a decision. Do I trust this thing, this giant, or do I not trust him? And it's up to the individual. Sometimes you get an individual who won't trust you. And then they associate me with feeding them. So you become sort of like the food god. And eventually, they'll decide if they're going to trust you or not. Now, he doesn't trust me. See how he backed away? But he's not, but I haven't hurt him. And he's not running away from me. Behavior, so he's still hungry. I'm going to feed him some more. But he's quite healthy. You know, that's the body shape you want. Yeah, I'll feed the babies right now because they're up and awake, and I do have food for them.
Maybe down here.
You want to go up there? Come on. Now, they will. They're capable of moving like lightning, but they won't do it unless they need to. The two adults are named, and I'm pretty sure they know their names because I can call them. And generally, they respond when they're called. If, for instance, if Angelia is underground, because she tunnels under there, and it's feeding time, I can call her. I can just go like, Angelia, are you hungry? And she'll come out of her tunnel, and she'll be voracious because she knows it's about food, just from my voice. Although he's more stubborn, he really likes to do what he wants to do. So he'll come out, but once he goes off and explores, he'll just go off, especially to areas that he knows that he's not supposed to. Too much wiring back there. Come on. Like the plumbing goes right out the wall in the whole apartment, so he's not allowed to go near those areas, and he kind of knows that. So there's times where he's exploring. I'll tell him, no, go in the bathroom, and then he'll turn around and go into the bathroom. So he wants to go up here and knock everything down. That's what he likes to do. So as long as the tongue's flicking, that means the brain's working, and they're thinking about everything. And he still wants to go up there. Good boy. Come on. Very good boy. Come on. With monitor lizards, you cannot force yourself on the animal. You can't. They hate to be picked up. They don't like to be controlled at all. So you have to. And it's similar like with a bird. You have to gain its trust. You can't just force it into behaviors. You have to gain its trust. These are very intelligent animals, and once you are able to gain its trust, then it will come to you. So when I interact with them, I try to have everything be their decision. So he does what he wants. And there they are. There's Angelia up there. She's basking. He's going to go up there and bask with her, I think. She's basking, and he is going to go up there and warm up, but he might disturb her, so. But they might bask together. That was good, because they make babies together.